So hopefully you know by now. It's the Smoking Man in Iron Mask. And we're gonna deal with two, maybe three topics today on this one. And this is about the NATO Summit. Now let me just ask this question. If you're familiar with organized crime history, you have Appalachian, 1957, Vito Genovese, supposedly was going to be crown boss of all bosses. He was standing in for Luciano, who was supposedly deported. And they were going to have this big meeting. Joe Barbera had the territory, upstate New York, where Stefano Magaddino, of course, who was the don of the Buffalo area, it was supposed to be protected. And here you go. Mob bosses from all over the country, Detroit, Kansas, all come to this one building and get dimed out. Supposedly the local troopers or sheriffs got a little bit nosy, saw these cars, and there was a big bust up. They were exposed. So what's that got to do with the G8 or the Bilderberg or NATO Summit? Number one, I hope you know when Obama goes to Camp David like he did yesterday and Saturday, and he meets with these other world leaders, they're not drawing up or drafting up shit. Okay? They're not quibbling and battling back and forth about what's going to go in and what's going to go out and this, that, and the other. These are simple photo ops for them to come together and sign the documents. It's over. Oh, okay. Well, because obviously, because we know they have technocrats and whatnot up under them that do the real dirty work, and these people just be teleprompters, all of them, puppets, because they're out in the public. That's what they're there for. Just like a queen or a pope or any other person, they're out there to get the tomatoes thrown at them. So my point is, you remember in the movie They Live, and there's another thing I'm going to touch on too about that movie, but long story short, remember they had the underground bases and they were having meetings there? Why would they have a meeting if these are the most rich and powerful people in the planet? They're going to come into Chicago, take the whole city over, and these are the top men and women running the whole world? No. These are middle level management type people having a working meeting that is exposed throughout the whole news media. So really, just ask yourself that question. That's all I'm saying. If everything's secret squirrel and top secret clearance and this, that, and other, but yet we know where their super secret government planning confab is every year, we've got cameras outside and we're yelling at them. Okay? Just think about what they put out there for you to see. Henry Kissinger supposedly gets groped by the TSA? Yeah, right. You see what I'm saying? The Pope gets tackled 2 years in a row by the same woman on Christmas Eve Mass. What? Because he's the king of the world. He's so special that somebody could actually lay a hand on him. And I don't care if a secret society or somebody sent that person in there. That's not the point. The point is, everyone that is out in the public is in the public eye for a reason. You think historians have talked about Rothschilds or different secret societies in Europe or wherever for centuries for a reason? You really think that's who runs it? You think the people who run it, you have their headquarters and their address and all their information, and you see them every day? On another one of my ones I did, I touched on the doubles. And I might put a video up that's not online currently that goes into that in greater detail using photographic evidence. I'm not going to get into that now. So the whole point is, let's say this was the secret confab of these Illuminati bankers, puppet minions in Chicago. You don't have any protest rights. You can't touch them. You can't do nothing. They got the military, secret organizations, etc. To them. So what does that say to you? If it is true, what can you do? Nothing. Protest 3 or 4 miles away. Get databased. Maybe go to jail doing that Alex Jones shit. Yeah, take a bullhorn. Go with your cell phone camera and mouth off to a police officer and see what happens, smart guy. Okay? Because that's the resistance. Getting maced and stomped on. Yeah, is Alex Jones going to come bail you out? Just saying. So I'll move on from the protest because there's no point. They got their provocateurs out there. It's Chicago, city built by the mob. Go look at the highways if you've not been there or whatever. the whole state sprang from the mob system. You know what I'm saying? Before Capone, you had Colissimo, and it goes further. Many cities like Kansas City and New York had famous mafia organizations that were in link with City Hall, and nothing changes today. So I wanted to touch on the farcity of covering the Nato Summit. What's the point? They're puppets. They're already in agreement. And when the camera's off, they're going to have a hell of a party. They're going to suck each other off. You know what I'm saying? They're having a party on your money, and that's it. Okay? They're not planning shit. They're puppets. Okay? Holland, he's a socialist candidate, so he goes to the big meeting, and he's in line with the rest of them. Okay? So, just like Ron Paul, you know what I'm saying? All due respect, he meets with Ben Bernanke. They have a nice breakfast. So you figure it out. I won't say anything else on it. Another thing I want to touch on is the whole thing about unverified info and sources. What do I mean by that? Imagine how many views or hits I'd have right now if I come on here and say, yeah, I know such and such who knows such and such who's with the Ron Paul campaign, and this is what's really going on. I've got a top secret intelligence briefing, inside information that can't be confirmed, but you just have to trust me on this. You've seen these reports before. Benjamin Fulford, Sorka filed. The list can go up and down, on and on and on. Most of your favorite conspiracy people that you listen to have 2, 3, 4 years in a row said that economic collapse is coming at such and such a date. War with Iran imminent, such and such a date. Bank holiday imminent, such and such date. False flag, probable, such and such date. Red alert. Red, blue, green alert. You know what I'm saying? Purple alerts. Like Steve Quayle, I've been talking to several of my Green Beret sources, and they come to me crying, telling me about the creatures that they've battled in the inner earth. It's good to listen to. I know it's fun, it's sexy, it's thrilling. But can you prove any of that? No. What about Benjamin Fulford? Oh yeah, there's 2 million Japs that have taken oaths against the Illuminati, and they're going to destroy the Illuminati. And blah 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 blah. This, that, and the other. Okay, where's your such Dick Cheney's been arrested. Timothy Geithner was detained and questioned by such and such. Where's the proof for that? There is no proof. Okay? Because the fact of the matter is, it doesn't look like any of that shit is taking place. As much as we've worried and panicked in the last several years, especially as you see the more on the coat of arms of the Pope there, that black person there, I think that's interesting. The more deeper we get into the conspiracy, the more it looks like it's 2 seconds to midnight. War is inevitable, but don't you see they're still turning the heat up slowly on the frog? They don't have to have a false flag. Everything is going their way now with the way they're doing it now. Why should they rock the boat? What's not going according to plan that they're doing? Just saying. So, you know, the whole NATO Summit thing and people going to riot and they caught some guys making Molotov cocktails. That's going to continue. Because the more you do that, it's the same thing with the Ron Paul people. I respect you trying to go through the bullshit process, and but if your delegates get screwed at these little caucuses or things that go on locally, then they call the cops in and you lose. Okay? Because that's not your recourse. But it's worth a shot. Go ahead. I admire your gumption that you try and do that. The fact of the matter is, what's got you? Nothing. And we're going to see what happens. Okay? Because 4 years from now, if we ain't completely bottomed out, they're going to be sucking you again. This time it's going to be Rand Paul, and he's going to restore this. And it was all about getting the truth out. Okay, you've gotten the truth out. If your job was to get the message out, you've done that. Congratulations. Alex Jones is on The View and everywhere else. And what has that accomplished? Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. Oliver Stone, who, I don't trust, but JFK was a good movie. It came out, 15 years, 20 years ago almost? About 16, 17 years. What's been done? Nothing. No one's brought to justice. So just think about that. Prepare and go on with your lives and don't buy into so much of the bullshit. Smoke Man in the Iron Mask.